Well, I guess we will get started talking about movement, since that was a good segue, Julie, with the steps in Disneyland. Um, Tonight, I figured we could just talk about some movement wins and celebrating those more often, because sometimes if we all struggle with movement, and I know we kind of talked about this on, I think it was last week's call, but saying that movement doesn't always need to look the same every single day, every single week. And sometimes I know I do that to myself, where like I'll beat myself up if I don't get in like what I say I'm going to get in. And I know, like, right now, some of I'm going through a tough time. And I was like telling myself, I'm like, all right, well, I feel like life slapped me in the face, and definitely like going through it. But what are the things that like I can control? And I'll tell you, like, the past week, my steps have not been where they normally are. Like, training wise, I haven't really been in it. And so like I know I can get a little like down on myself, because I'm just like, Tabby, why aren't you doing the things? So I looked at everything I had going on. My mind was going like 1,000 miles a minute. And I'm like, you know what? I still got out and walked today, which I could have just laid on the couch all day. I still went out and trained, and it might not have been as hard as I normally train, but it was like dialed back intensity. I still went and did it. And I was like, I need to celebrate those things. Which just got me thinking, as like we're transitioning into, I don't know, I feel like everybody's going back to school here soon. If you aren't already, if you have kids. And Terry was smiling. Like how your schedule is gonna change, and movement might start to look a little bit different, and it's gonna take some time to be able to figure out what is your new schedule, or how are you going to get your movement or exercise in. And it might look totally different, and you might not feel great about it because it's not what you exactly wanted to do. But as long as you're putting effort forward into getting some type of movement in, like, I still think that's a win you should celebrate. Because when things get switched up and changed around, and then you have to like reconfigure your whole schedule and thought process with everything, sometimes it throws you for a whirlwind. So I figured we could just talk about like little ways that we can celebrate our movement wins. So if anybody has any wins they want to share, like, that they've done over the past few weeks or anything, I think that'd be a cool conversation.
To get my steps in, whenever like anybody calls me, I pop in my earbuds and go for a walk. So like today I was talking to my sister Julie, and then it started raining and my husband came and picked me up. But then the sun came out and my brother called me. And so I just popped my earbuds in and went for a walk. I have actually almost 16,000 steps today, which I never get that many. So I usually get between 10 and 12. So, but that's a huge win for me.
That is. That's a good one. I feel like Christy Campbell is the one that always is like, I'm always taking calls on my headphones. I should start doing that too.
Yeah. And it makes a huge difference. But now I need to focus on like getting like Tory exercises in, and just exercises.
Back to those Tory exercises everybody loves so much.
Yeah, about that. Well, I do my Tory neck exercises every morning.
Ouch, that does sound painful. Well, I have a win. One of the things that I've chronically had a problem with is actually getting steps in, because I remember when I met with, oh gosh, who did it before? With Sam. I met with Sam and we were talking about my steps, and she asked me if, do I have a lunchtime? Well, no, I'm salaried at work. And so I often don't take a lunch because I'm working through lunch. And so I have all these barriers to walking, and it's been kind of hard. I work in healthcare and everything sucks. And I just said, you know what, for my own peace of mind, I just need to force myself to take a lunch unless I have a meeting. And so I did. So the last week, all of last week, I took a lunch and I walked. And today I took a lunch and I walked, and you can't see it, but I never get 6,500 steps, but I got 6,500 steps. And the best part of that today is that my knee doesn't hurt.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So now it was also leg day on my weights this morning. So when I get up to walk, I'm pretty stiff, but everything hurts but my knee. My knee does not hurt. So that's a big win for me. And I could give Tori credit for that, because I have been doing backwards walking uphill a little bit. But I think she gets partial credit for that. I think another part of the credit is that I've been lifting consistently, and so I'm getting stronger. And you know, I posted on the Facebook page. I don't know if anybody saw that I had a pain management injection, or basically they killed my nerves in my knee. I was the guinea pig for something that we're going to be doing for our total joint replacement patients, to kind of help them to manage pain so they can get out and move after they have a total knee. And so part of it is that too. I'm not feeling the pain sensors in my knee that I would normally. But my other knee doesn't hurt either, and it would at 6,000 steps. So I feel pretty good. So that was a long way to say I got 6,500 steps today and it doesn't hurt.
Heck yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I love that. And good for you for taking a break at lunch. I feel like, Jen, you were talking about that. Were you talking about that last week too?
Yeah. Yeah, I got to get out of the office. I can't be there for 9 hours straight, or else somebody's going to die. And I don't want it to be me. So, so I guess I'll share my win. So the weekends have been, my weakest point. I feel like the more time that I have, the less chance I have to get it done, because I'm like, I'll go in an hour. I'll go later. Oh, it's hot now. I'll wait till the sun goes down or whatever. But I walked Saturday and I walked Sunday and I walked today. So stringing 3 days in a row together has been good for me. I'm on day 10 of my 50 on the 10-week challenge. So this is the most consistent I've been in a long time. I'm a little bored with my walking because I'm used to doing my boot camp stuff, but I think I have a game plan for tomorrow. I'm going to do some weights instead of just the walking, but it felt good to get it done this weekend. And my parents just got back in town, so now I have my boyfriend and my mom and my dad all going, did you go for your walk today? Did you make it out for your walk today? And hopefully I can get my mom to come with me the next couple times, you know, just kind of help motivate her too, because it's easier when you got a buddy. But yeah, I'm getting phone calls for my walks, which is helpful. But yeah, that's been my win so far.
Heck yeah. I always like going on walks, or like I usually Marco Polo on my walks. So it keeps me busy. So I'm not like thinking about it. But I love that. And then maybe your mom can come out with you too and help get her moving as well.
Yep.
I did actually just think of something, because you said boot camps, and I've done this before in my walks, where if you, I don't know, you could set a timer for every 5 minutes or a certain distance or something, and do a little mini, I don't know, circuit where maybe you do 5-10 push-ups, 5-10 squats, maybe you do lunges, depending on where you're walking, if you could be on the ground. But even if something,
I can do that.
Yeah, because then it's a little bit more of a challenge, like the boot camp is, but then you're still getting your steps in.
Yep. Like it.
There's no wins around here. With my husband having COVID a couple weeks ago, and then I think I had it mildly and our daughter had it again mildly, that we're just trying to get motivated again to do anything. He's gone for a walk a couple times, and because I've been busy on the phone. And he comes back and he's just exhausted. He's like, I just don't have the strength. And he had it really bad. So it was his first time. So, but no, the weather's going to change in a couple days. And when it does change, then I'm going to get back out there and start walking again too. But I haven't been doing my Tory exercises either. It's just kind of, he got sick and everything went downhill. So the most I'm doing is Fitme plates right now. So that's a win there. And water.
I was going to say, I know the Fitme plates and the water are definitely a win for you.
Yeah, I can't do all three at the same time, it seems. I can do two at a time, but when it comes to the third, I'm like, wait a second, what's up here? I think I might do a sticker chart or something where I can visualize I did this and I did this and I did this and see if that helps get a streak going.
I think it would. It'd help you build momentum. And especially if you're a visual person, just being able to like see it versus maybe if you're not like a calendar person where you put that in there and you're just like, I ain't gonna look at the calendar. But like if you're doing something where it's like on your fridge, maybe, that could be cool. Like if you, because we have a dry erase calendar on our fridge. So if you had maybe like a dry erase thing, like you and Harmony maybe could do it, and that could be fun for her to like, I don't know, like color it in.
Yeah, something, because it's just so hard. And with my ADHD, you're right. If I put it in my calendar, if I don't set reminder after reminder after reminder, I'll forget. So it's just how it is. Out of sight, out of mind.
I'm kind of like that too. If it's not like smacking me in the face, I will forget. So I had to visually do, I'll have to show you, and I color coded it. But I did like a to-do list, and I have it color coded with like pretty colors and markers and stuff. And I'm like crossing it off as I go. So I can like visually see it, because if I don't write it down, I'll be like walking, doing something. I'll be like, oh crap, I forgot to do blah, blah, blah. I don't write it down. And then it's like in one ear and out the other. And I'm like, oh crap. So trying to get a little bit more organized, but Julie, I feel like we talked about it, which might be like good to think about, or like if we're working on, you know, being more consistent with movement, was the habit stacking that you were doing with the water, with the Fitme plates. So like try, I would say, since we know that that works for you, maybe think about a way you can habit stack your movement again. That way you have that like visual cue to know, okay, now after this, I'm going to go do this.
Well, I'm thinking that because the weather's going to cool down, I'm thinking about after breakfast taking Harmony for a walk, because she loves to be outside. That's her happy place. And so taking her for a walk, and then after dinner going for another walk when it cools down before bedtime. So just to be able to get the steps in. Plus, because we're going to Disney, I've got to get my feet back in shape to be able to walk those distances without them killing me at the end of the day.
Yep. And you got your shoes. So
yeah,
wear those babies in.
Yeah, I'll definitely be wearing them in. I might have to order a new pair before I go to Disney.
Oh man, that was a cool conversation about the shoes. Because my feet are starting to hurt with the shoes that I'm wearing. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to reach out to people and maybe ask Tori what type of shoes, because they don't feel good when I walk them.
Yeah, the barefoot shoes are the only thing that make my ankle and my knee not hurt. At least, well, it's been hurting regardless, but it doesn't hurt as much when I wear them. If I could walk outside just barefoot, I think my feet would be happier.
I would love to be able to walk barefoot everywhere and not have to wear shoes. I totally would do it too if it didn't hurt.
Or frowned upon.
Yeah, true.
Well, I would wear socks. I mean, I'd be happy to wear socks, but I just to keep your feet from being dirty. But yeah. I would walk without shoes.
Might be kind of a little little crusty walking into a gym with no shoes on. It just makes me laugh. Marlena, do you have any good movement wins? I feel like you do when you were Marco Poloing me about the training session. Not to call you out, but
I guess my win is starting my Tabby workout. I started that on Thursday, and I really like the workouts. They're different than what I was doing before, but they feel really good. And so I guess that's my win, is deciding to actually ask for more help when it comes to strength training, because I was kind of lost. I was doing the same thing over and over, and it was just getting really boring. And so I needed to switch it up. I just can't come up with it on my own. So Tabby's doing my programming now.
Well, I'm glad that you liked it. And I feel
Yeah.
like most of the stuff feels good. So that makes me happy to hear.
It's all very different. So my body's moving very differently than it used to. So it's gonna take some getting used to some of the movements, but I can do them all, so that's good.
Must be no push-ups, sit-ups, no ups.
We have variations.
There's some stuff, but not anything I hate yet.
Which you would tell, usually I always like people like, tell me if there's something you really, really hate. Like, it's funny, I program for Natika and she always makes me laugh because me and her are the opposite. She loves the rowing machine and I despise that machine. And she's like, she goes, I'm getting good at it. My speeds are quicker. And I'm like, I absolutely dread when I see that in my programming. I'm like, ugh, I hate that one.
The only thing I don't like is planks. Like,
Mhm.
I could stay in a plank and not move, but when I have to start pulling weight through a plank, that was really hard today. That was really hard. But
Through.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. Push-ups, planks, and abs. Those are like the things I don't like, but I know I need to do them.
Yeah, the plank pull throughs, they're definitely tough because not only is it a plank, but it's also like, I can show you what they are, but you take like a dumbbell while you're in the plank position and pull it through. It's like really dark in here, so you might not be able to see it. So it's a stabilization thing and a core exercise at the same time. They're definitely tough.
So you're doing a plank and then with one hand you're pulling a dumbbell through.
Don't laugh at how messy my floor is. But basically, if you had like a plank, or I mean, you're in a plank position, so you're up like this and you're taking the dumbbell. So you kind of have to go onto one arm.
Oh my.
My
Hey, good
core
for
is
you,
not strong
Marlena.
enough to do that.
I do that with my weights. It's that and renegade rows are really, really tough. There's such good core exercises. You can start on your knees if it's just too hard on your core.
What are renegade?
So you're in a plank position and you do rows with weights one at a time.
They're hard.
Yeah, they're awesome.
You guys are awesome.
I did them this morning. I hurt. Everything hurts.
The renegade, that's another one, Carrie. When I see that on my programming, I'm like, ugh, yuck.
Yeah, I go, oh crap, it's coming again. But then I feel so good, because you do progress really fast with those bigger upper body muscles, especially if you engage your core. But I do feel really powerful and strong when I'm through. I'm like, yeah, I did that. And the hardest part is not letting them drop down, slamming them down back down on the ground. You have to press them down really lightly.
So do you have the the weights next to you, or are you planking
No,
with
I'm
them?
planking on the weights.
Okay.
and you
You're
row.
like,
Wow, that takes balance.
if you have like the dumbbells here, so like these are hangers, but like if you have like the circles, like you're kind of up on them and you're pulling them back to your hip. They're not fun.
You are a rock star.
Yeah, yeah, she is.
Carrie's been doing her strength training, I think, since you started Fitme. I feel like you've progressed pretty far on that. I hear you
Well,
talk.
there's muscle memory. I used to be a competitive bodybuilder back when I was in my 20s. So, I mean, I'm late 50s now. So it's been, 30 years, but your muscle remembers, and I'm the conditioning, the training that you get. So you kind of remember how to control your breathing, what your posture looks like and stuff like that. And so and I really loved it. I don't know why I stopped doing it. Probably because I thought cardio would be better for me and I'd lose weight. Nope. Nope. But I do love it.
Yeah, I love weight training too. Cardio is not my favorite unless I'm playing soccer. Then I'll run for. I'd rather run for hours playing soccer than go run for 30 minutes. But if there's another, for some of you that you were like, because Terry, you were like, oh, I don't know about doing the plank one. Have you guys ever done a hollow body hold?
I don't like those either, but yes.
I feel like they've been a game changer for me, my core strength. Literally, I don't know. My camera's not, I don't know if you can see it. But like instead of being like in the plank position up like this, you're on your back. And then you kind of think about, like, I always think about bringing like my belly button like to my spine, kind of tightening my core up. And then you're going to lift your feet, which of course you guys can't see, and then hold your arms over your head. And then like you could start holding it literally for like 15 seconds to start, and then work your way up. Another one, because it works your transverse abdominis, which is like the thing that like keeps everything in nice and tight. And if you work that, a lot of the times it can make you appear, which is funny, Carrie, I actually learned this because I used to try to compete in a bodybuilding competition, and they were called stomach vacuums. And I did that to work the transverse abdominis to try and make my core tighter and like leaner, just because that's usually a muscle group we don't always necessarily like think of working, but it can make a world of difference. So I think there's like 1,000 different ways that you can do a stomach vacuum, but I'll do them in my car sometimes just because I'm like, oh, working on my core strength. But literally it's just thinking about, like, I always think about bringing my belly button into my spine and kind of holding it there while you're like still breathing. You're not like holding your breath. So you could, like, I'm doing it now without even like stop with it, with still breathing. So sometimes I like to do it on like all fours, and I just kind of, without like arching my back like this, like cat cow, but just bringing my belly button into my spine and like holding it for 20 or 30 seconds. So you could do that up against a wall by having your low back kind of touch the wall. You could do it in your car. You could do it on the floor. I really, really like that one. And I do think it's made a big difference in my overall core strength, because I used to have really like a bad bulge disc, because that was before I learned how to lift properly. And we had to focus on core strength for a long time. And I still have to focus on it because it's probably still where I'm one of the weakest. So maybe you guys can add some of those in if you're not doing the plank pull throughs or some of the planks.
I know they're hard, but really, especially as you get older, doing core work is critical for your spine, for your posture, for your digestion, and just things like that. It sucks because it's not fun. You're not moving. It hurts. Nobody wants, you have to lift your head up and your legs up and all that crap. And even though I don't like doing core work either, and it's made a huge difference already in even just my posture.
Mm.
In my walking, it's easier. Maybe part of the reason my knees don't hurt so much is because my posture has improved because of the core work and the strength training.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you're moving your body more maybe than what you did before. And I know, oh my God, the cats are meowing. They're sassy if they don't get let in the room. Can you hear them? I know, like when, oh my God, shut it. I know when I like don't move a lot, that's usually when like my joints end up hurting, is when I end up getting stuck at a chair all day or at the desk all day. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's 2-3 o'clock and I haven't moved from the desk. So what is it? Motion is lotion. I know Amy doesn't like that, but does anybody else?
I want to know what Leah's making over there.
Me
It's looking
too.
really good.
I've never made before because I got all these bell peppers from my garden, stuffed bell peppers. So I'm just throwing in zucchini, onions. I'm just throwing stuff in. We'll see.
Yum.
Yum.
I feel like Leah's always chopping something.
I am. Dog training here at 5:15, and so it's like I want this to be done.
I want to come over to your house for dinner because you're literally always making something. All right, guys. Well, we are about at 7:30. Does anybody else have any other wins they want to share before we hop off? No? All right. Well, this was a good call. I'm glad. Honestly, hearing everybody's wins and everything, and even if maybe you didn't have a movement win, you had a win somewhere else. But it was a good conversation. It was a good one.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of your night.
Bye, everyone.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.